Manor Lords is a game which blends elements from city builders like City Skylines and real-time strategies like Age of Empires. The game ultimately revolves around gathering resources, crafting items, making trades, building up your settlement, and fighting enemies if you so wish. As of recording this video, Manor Lords is in early access with a retail price of 60 New Zealand dollars or about 34 USD. This begs the question, is buying Manor Lords worth it? This video will answer that question and give you a breakdown of some aspects of the current Manor Lords experience. The graphical fidelity of Manor Lords is at the top of its class. From the shimmering of light on a lake covered in water lilies, to the expansive field of grass and trees gently blowing in the wind, to the detailed design of buildings and the villages themselves. There is the occasional graphical glitch where certain parts of buildings, an object on the ground, or part of the environment may flicker at a certain distance. This minimally affects how I feel about the graphics of the game, and overall I give it a 4.5 out of 5. The animation design choices and audio assets all make this game incredibly immersive. As your settlement develops, it begins to look and feel as if it is truly alive. The houses in your settlement feel lived in. The endless field of crops take a community effort to ensure a successful harvest. The markets are bustling with trade and the sound of bartering. The stockpile of resources you harvest visually build up the more you collect. And the construction of a building follows an assembly process similar to how a builder would do it in real life. The world also reacts to changing weather conditions. Puddles of water appear on the ground as it rains, and snow builds up on the roofs, objects, and even on the villages. There are a range of unique animations for all of the different tasks the villagers might perform, whether it is skinning an animal, or cutting down trees to be taken to a lumber camp. The game's immersion hits the mark at every level, and I can confidently give it a 5 out of 5. Combat in its current state feels enjoyable, but the lack of an on-map adversary means that raiding another enemy's settlement isn't a thing yet. Generally, you are either taking out small bandit camps or responding to armies that are sent to pillage your towns. The ability to make cosmetic changes to your retinue is satisfying, and the varied range of equipment which is available to them makes each person in your army look unique. The recruitment process of slowly building up your retinue is satisfying, and the promising addition of mechanics such as leveling up your soldiers and selecting skill upgrades is something to wait for. The combat itself is satisfying and ticks all the boxes of what you would expect from a real-time strategy game. A range of different combat animations and the added touch of bodies being left behind from particularly bloody battles is extremely satisfying to watch. Your armies have a range of different abilities that you can use in combat, where you can force your army to group up tight or charge the enemy. The enemy's ability to pillage your settlement when you fail to defend it is a beautiful sight to behold, but the process of rebuilding your settlement afterwards is bare bones and has yet to be fully established. Combat is in an okay state at the moment, so I score it 3 out of 5. The city building aspects of Manor Lords is fulfilling. The game allows you to build a humble village, a sprawling metropolis, or something in between. The game has a range of buildings available to you which allow you to gather resources, craft items, and trade with others. These are all associated with the various professions available to your villagers, such as farming, berry picking, blacksmithing, cooking, and leatherworking. These are straightforward to build and are incredibly easy to manage. The home building mechanic allows you to draw an area for your houses to be built, much like in City Skylines. The big difference here is the ability to adjust what is contained within that area. You can rotate the building and adjust the housing density by adding or removing houses until you have the amount you desire. You also have the opportunity to build add-ons for the houses. These add-ons include additional space for more villagers to live or an area for families to work a specialized profession. The manor building mechanic is arguably the most important area of the game. The way you build manors is modular. Once you place down the manor, you are granted the ability to create a free-form blueprint containing walls, gates, towers, and some cosmetics. You have the ability to expand the area you can build in, giving you the freedom to make your manor as large or as small as you like. With the manor established, you gain access to the tax system. This allows you to generate an income used to pay royalties to the king, buy mercenaries, or more men for your retinue. The idea of building up a grand manor has been shown to be a fairly core aspect of the game experience. With this in mind, the current manor mechanics and the availability of building options feels quite limited. The splash screen art for the game shows quite a grand vision for what manors might become, but currently they feel like they're quite a way off getting to that point. Given how prevalent manors are in the advertisement for this game, the mechanic is less than stellar and has quite a lot of improvement to be made. My overall rating for building is 3 out of 5. The scenario menu gives you many options for how you can play the game. This allows you to take a peaceful approach, which has a focus on city building and lacks any real adversaries on the map. You could enable regular raiding parties to harass you, masses of bandits around the map to steal your resources, and an aggressive adversary to claim regions on the map and eventually challenge your rule. The game currently comes with 3 different maps, and each map will push you to play the game slightly differently. Germanic Valley is the game's bog standard map with no distinct features. Winding River is defined by the meandering river which flows across the map. And High Winds is defined by the mountain ranges flanking each side of the map. The addition of skill trees enables you to specialize in different skill areas in each region based off the resources that have spawned. The harvesting of meat and berries benefits from the foraging tree. The mining of iron and creating armor benefit from the industrial tree. Growing and harvesting from crops and animals and pastures benefit from the farming tree. And trading and haggling for resources benefits from the trading tree. Overall, the graphics are beautiful and can easily be compared to the best AAA games out there. The ability to immerse yourself in the game is top-notch. Everything about the game feels real, and the addition of even the most minute of detail only adds to this. Combat is functional and enjoyable, but there are some missing features which are referenced in the game that would improve this greatly. The process of creating and expanding your settlement is well done. The range of buildings available and the options for how you implement them add a much needed depth to the game. However, the manor building aspect is missing many features that are referenced or hinted at. Given how important this part of the game is, a lot more work needs to be put into it to make this core mechanic one of the best in the game. The selection of maps, the difficulty settings you can adjust, and the random nature of where you spawn on a map all contribute to a game that delivers a different experience every time you play it. I strongly recommend that you buy this game. Despite being in early access, the game excels in many areas and is already a quality product. I have no doubt that on full release, this game will be an absolute marvel to play.